Hi there, Timothy Linsdau, video producer, Christian, and do a lot of volunteer things in my so-called retirement. Well, what's going on here in the Iowa Caucus? Always seems like such a strange thing to me, but let's take a look at it. Well, the Iowa Caucus is the beginning of the campaign battle, if you will, for president, and kind of crazy. It, of course, took place on 3rd yesterday. These caucuses are first nominating contests of the Democratic Party primaries for the 2020 presidential election. The Iowa caucuses are closed caucus, with Iowa awarding 49 delegates, of which 41 are pledged delegates to allocated on the basis of the results of the caucuses. Now, the contest caused controversy due to delay in the reporting of the results, which stemmed at least in part from Iowa Democratic Party decision to use a mobile application for results reporting. There's the digital world messing us up again. Oh my. Next primary contest, 2020 New Hampshire, is the next one. And on goes the wild and crazy world. Absentee voting, such as by mail or proxy voting, was not allowed in the closed 2020 Iowa Democratic Caucus, where only registered Democratic Iowans who meet the requirement of being minimum 18 years old by November 3rd, 2020, could vote by their physical presence at their designated precinct caucus site. Iowans who did not register as Democrats before the caucus day could still register as such on caucus night at their designated precinct and thereby gain full voting rights at the event. Now, 1,678 Iowa precinct caucuses plus 99 satellite caucuses around the world organized as alternative voting sites for registered Democratic Iowans who are prevented from voting locally at their precinct caucus. It will be held, will all be held with doors being closed at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time on February 3rd, 2020, in order to elect precinct delegates for the subsequent county conventions and allocate the state's 41 pledged national delegates based upon the proportional cumulative results of all precincts. Oh my. Whatever happened to the day when you marked a check box and they counted it? In all precinct caucuses, the presidential candidates must meet a viability threshold with the individual precinct in order to qualify as a viable candidate. Minimum of 15% for the majority of precincts with more than 3 delegates. Minimum of 16.67% for small precincts only electing 3 delegates. Minimum of 25% for small precincts only electing 2 delegates, and a minimum of 50% for the smallest precincts only electing 1 delegate. Supporters of viable candidates after the first initial voting will have their vote locked to their chosen presidential candidate. Supporters of non-viable candidates having received a result below the viability threshold as the first preliminary vote, however, are allowed to vote a final second time when they can either choose to transfer their vote to one of the already established viable candidates or alternatively merge their non-viable group with another non-viable group in order to create a big enough group to qualify as a viable candidate. Wow. 11,402 county convention delegates are awarded proportionally on the basis and the results of the 1,678 precinct caucuses and 99 satellite caucuses. Phew. They will go to their local county convention in March 21st, 2020 to choose 2,107 district state delegates for the district conventions on April 25th. Yes. Anybody figure this stuff out? The reporting precinct results of the caucus nights were previously used to compute the expected number of pledged national delegates. Oh, wow. On it goes. On and on and on it goes. The reported precinct results of the caucus nights were previously used to compute what they needed, as I said. Wow. I don't know about you, but it's all kind of crazy to me. A little bit of noise from the New York Times on this. There's another number raising Democratic anxiety today. Gallup poll results Trump's approval rating was climbed to 49%, his highest as president in that survey. Well, things didn't quite go as people thought they might, especially for good old Joe Biden. Pete Buttigieg apparently is the big winner with 26.9%. Next is Bernie Sanders, and Elizabeth Warren's next, then Biden, and then Amy Klobuchar. All of them want to give away the farm, make everybody happy. As they always say about politics, 2 cars in every garage, 2 chickens in every pot. Don't have to pay for anything anymore. Everything is solved. There are no problems whatsoever. Even though the country is probably about $23 trillion in debt, and voting, and they've all voted for another $1 trillion or 2 over the money that's coming in. Even though this booming economy is bringing an enormous amount of money, our politicians cannot spend it any faster, and we cannot put it in the bank any faster. What's this leave for the coming generations? Anybody? Anybody figure that out? Oh my. Well, it's like Bernie. He's going to pay off all the college debt of $1 trillion. You know, and all that does is, oh, here come the universities. Oh, well, we've got to have more money. You know, it's our. You open the coffers to the government, there's no end to how much money people can spend, and they will spend it. And then one day, somebody's going to pay the piper. When we live off of credit cards, on and on it goes. God bless the kids coming up. They're going to need it. Talking about Buttigieg, I never did understand that name. I thought my name's difficult enough. Buttigieg? I don't know. Apparently strengths are things that the young abhor, which is talk of unity and invoking military noise, and oh boy, on it goes. A reminder, as we all analyze, 62% of about 250,000 votes, about 15 million voters in California now have their ballots. Ooh, that's coming up, huh? They say it doesn't matter by the time it gets to California. They say Sanders is close enough and the delegate situation noisy enough that this reporter thinks you will see race calls from news outlets based on results so far. Everybody's got something to say about this. But I think Biden was kind of shocked, and those for Biden, and he ended up in 4th place. What does that mean? Well, you heard many times over that Bernie got second. The so-called socialist, that's what I've heard a lot of, and it kind of sounds that way to me about the way he's going to pay everything off and pay for everything. Buttigieg, he's probably just another brand of that. They probably went for him because Bernie's got so old he'll die before it's all over with. And Warren, who knows? What's Trump calls her Pocahontas for her false claim of being a Native American. Well, there's a lot of people trying to do that, especially those that have tribes that own casinos. And some of those tribe members make something like $10,000 a month. I suppose one might be able to live off that depending on your lifestyle. Oh boy. Recent polls show it's a tight race in Iowa. Well, I don't know what that means. We know what the caucus produced. But anyway. So on it goes, and then it'll be the next round, and the next round, and the next round. But the real stuff doesn't happen until the general election in November. Tonight, Trump's going to give his State of the Union speech. It's kind of strange here in the process of being impeached by the House and being judged by the state, and it sounds like that will all end by tomorrow. And that'll be over, and we'll move on to some other argument. The politics in America, huh? Well, we can be hoped that we'll always have that right to vote for our leaders in a democratic republic, and then it won't turn into something else worse. Let's hope. So, God bless you all. Thanks for listening. Like and subscribe to my video. Comment if you would, and get out there in this wild time and you try to make it a great day.